Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today is Terrifying Tuesday, and we've got to talk about the brand new movie that you will not believe, the Little Mermaid horror movie. So let's jump right into it. Alright everybody, so we have to talk about yet another public domain character getting a horror movie. But this one should be different. This one instantaneously makes you think of Disney. It is based on the Little Mermaid of all things. So automatically you're thinking Disney instantaneously when you hear it. But this is going to be the farthest from Disney that you can possibly imagine. And not to mention, it's actually being done by Lionsgate Entertainment. Lionsgate is actually going to be the ones doing this. So that's crazy as well, because this is not some little shoestring budget studio. This is a major studio that's doing this. This is a major studio that's put this out. So that's going to be a lot different than, say, some shoestring budget studio doing this. And already we have a release date for this. And it will be available to stream on December 17th of this year. So 2024, December 17th, just around the corner, the Little Mermaid horror film is coming out. Well, what makes this one different is it's going to be rated R for language, violence, and nudity. And it also focuses on a pagan temple. After archaeologist Eric Prince and his students uncover an ancient pagan temple in the depths of the Caribbean, Eric falls in love with a beautiful mermaid-like girl. Their relationship blossoms, and then she tries to get him to join her under the sea. Only it's not the under the sea that you're thinking. It's not a world that you're going to want to be a part of. It kind of takes that to a whole new level of, I want to be part of that world. You probably don't. Now, the film is directed by Lee Scott, and it stars Mike Markoff, Jeff Denton, Samuel Salmon, Sean Michael Argo, Winston Crook, Mannion Laurent, and Lydia Helen. And this is based on a book that was done all the way back in the 1830s, 1837 to be exact, by Hans Christian Andersen. And Hans Christian Andersen's tale was a bit darker anyway, but it was nowhere near as dark as the horror movie we're about to get. Now, this brings up a couple things. How can they do this? And why? Well, we know why they can do this, because this is now a public domain character. There has been some element of this character that's sort of always been in public domain. However, with all the public domain characters coming out, it stands to reason that you would get a horror movie such as this. And this sounds like it's going to be just wild. With the modernizing it a bit to make him an archaeologist, I kind of think it should be interesting. I think it's going to be one of those movies that could surprise us. And it's done by a major studio. That only sort of hypes it up more. Because if it was done by a shoestring budget studio, then you would expect it to be lower budget. You would expect less. But because it's by a big studio, you gotta expect that this is going to have some rather decent effects. This is going to have some rather decent set pieces. This isn't some backyard. This isn't some place that they rented out to film the movie. This is going to be a bigger budget movie than the previous public domain horror movies we've had the privilege of seeing. And the Little Mermaid lends itself quite easily to horror. So instantaneously you have to wonder, what's it got to do with the pagan temple that they find in the Caribbean? And also you have to ponder the question of, What is she doing trying to take him under the sea? Is there some sort of reason? Are they going to sacrifice him to some ancient pagan god? We don't know the answers to that yet. That part, I guess, we'll have to watch and find out. There is a trailer you can find online of this movie. I don't want to give away too much, so I'm not going to be discussing the trailer in itself, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It does look like this one could be worth watching. And if you're looking for something to watch while your kids are in the other room watching The Little Mermaid, and you're like, I don't want to watch The Little Mermaid for kids, I want to watch something different, then you can go ahead and pop this movie in. After all, this one is definitely not a little kids movie by any stretch of the imagination. Now, this mermaid that they encounter is encountered by some of his team in the area, or it's a mermaid that resembles her. And that's going to present a problem because maybe they know something he shouldn't. Maybe they're thinking, hey, stay away from this. And you have to wonder on that. You have to wonder if they're trying to warn him, or if they're in on it, or even if they just don't know what's going on, because this seems like it's gonna be a fun ride. I can't wait to see what they do here, and I'm kind of a little bit excited for this movie. Just the fact that it's going to be a darker take on something that was written by Hans Christian Andersen. And if you know any of Hans Christian Andersen's stuff, you know that some of his stuff was dark to begin with. Some of it wasn't very lighthearted. Despite being for children, there is a darker element to some of the Grimm's fairy tales, to some of the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales. And I've always thought they would lend themselves to horror movies. And we've gotten several horror movies around the Grimm's fairy tale characters over the years. There's been some horror Cinderella ones. That's probably the most popular. There's been a few Snow White horror movies throughout the years. But to have one that is based directly on The Little Mermaid is something that is completely different. And I'm actually looking forward to this. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys think. Are you excited about this? Would you like to see more public domain characters from Hans Christian Andersen get horror movie makeovers? Or more characters from the Grimm's fairy tales get makeovers for the horror genre? Or do you want to see more recent public domain characters get horror movies, such as Winnie the Pooh and Mickey Mouse and Popeye? Because that's the real question here. Is there room for all of these characters to get their own horror movie? The answer is yes, because it's the latest trend. But should it be done? What is your take on this? And are you excited about this particular movie? Do you think it's going to be a lot of fun? Do you think it's going to be absolute garbage? As always, we want to know what you guys think. So make sure you leave us that comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Also, don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this conversation as well. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Then Miko says we need more subscribers, and you don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.